joining us now. A guy I sit next to every Sunday. Sometimes he whacks me. Sometimes he cracks a joke. He usually hits me more than he cracks jokes. He's Rodney Harrison of Football Night in America and Patriots Hall of Famer. Rodney, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing great. How you guys doing?
I'm doing good. It's just me today. There's no you guys. It's just me. They left me all by myself. I thank you for joining me. It would just be me talking for the next 15 minutes. So I'm glad you were able to call in, Rodney. Hey, how are you today?
What's going on with Chris? He left you?
No, Chris doesn't work on Fridays.
Oh, typical. Always skipping out a day early, huh?
He's got Notre Dame tomorrow, so he's got an excuse. He's in South Bend, but I still give him a hard time for only working 4 days a week. So we all work on Sunday, although it's not really work. We get to watch football, and then we get to do Football Night in America. This week it's going to be the 49ers and the Packers. And there's been so much talk about the 49ers. They're 9-1. Their offense is very good. Their defense is very good. If they have a weak link, to me, it's quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo. Do you trust Garoppolo based on what you've seen from him so far this year?
I don't, Mike. I don't trust him. I think, he's really in a great situation with the run game and, having a very solid defense. But, there's at times where he makes those boneheaded mistakes. And, as you get closer to the wintertime, as you get closer to the playoffs, you can't make those type of mistakes. And I just don't think he's been in that situation enough. I don't trust him.
Okay, who do you trust more? Or maybe I should say, who do you trust less, Jimmy Garoppolo or Jared Goff?
Who do I trust less? It'll be Jared Goff.
And hey, you know what? You look at the NFC West and how good those teams are. Kyler Murray has been spectacular this year. We don't pay a lot of attention to the Cardinals because the team's not good. And right now, it's Garoppolo versus Goff for the basement in the NFC West as it relates to quarterbacks because Russell Wilson's clearly the best. And let me tell you, Kyler Murray is special, and we're going to see more and more of him in the future. He's the real deal. Once they get players around him, that's going to be a team we're talking about being flexed into a Sunday night game in November.
Yeah, I think, when I look at Kyler Murray, I love his leadership, the poise that he shows. It seems like every single week this is the one guy that continues to get better. And you said it, Mike, he doesn't have a whole lot around him. So at times, he stays in the pocket, he delivers the ball, but other times you see that speed, you see that burst. I mean, this guy's going to be really good. I mean, there's so much doubt about, his height and all those other things, but it's the intangibles, the leadership, the poise, the confidence, which, all his teammates seem to take from him.
You went to a Super Bowl with a team quarterbacked by Stan Humphries, but you also went to a couple with Tom Brady. Who would you want to play with now at quarterback if you were still in the league?
I would say Aaron Rodgers. I would love to play with Aaron Rodgers. I was sitting here thinking, I was having a conversation with my buddy last night, and we talked about Aaron Rodgers, and he said, what if Aaron Rodgers was on the Patriots? And I said, well, if Aaron Rodgers was on the Patriots for 10, 15 years, he would probably won 5 or 6 Super Bowls. I said, because he's just so great, and and the coaching and just the stable of great players that Belichick would have around him. But yeah, Aaron Rodgers is definitely a guy that seems to have a lot of fun, that you can create a lot of different dynamic plays, and he's a guy that's going to get in your face if you're not performing. I love that.
Yeah, I'd be fascinated to see how Bill Belichick and Aaron Rodgers would get along, though, because he gives Tom Brady a lot, and I don't know that Aaron Rodgers would want to take that.
Well, I think Aaron Rodgers, if it's coming from Coach Belichick, probably more so than anyone else, he would accept it. And plus, I mean, you don't mind getting coached up when you know you're winning, and you're winning Super Bowls every other year.
We talk so much about the Patriots offense this year and how Tom Brady doesn't have a lot of help around him, where Aaron Rodgers doesn't have a lot of help around him either, and he's getting it done. So you may be onto something there. That nothing against Tom Brady, but if Aaron Rodgers had that platform, but the platform that Brady's had for the last 20 years, you're right. I think Aaron Rodgers would have 5 or 6 Super Bowl rings, and he could get a second one this year. You look at the NFC. There's a lot of great teams, but the best quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, or who do you put as you like to play with Aaron Rodgers, but do you think he's the best quarterback in the NFC, or is Russell Wilson the best one?
That's a tough one. Right now, I think Russell might be, Russell's playing probably a little better than Aaron Rodgers, but when it comes down to it, when, the game is on the line, I want Aaron Rodgers, man. I mean, it's just, it's something about him. I picked against him one time, I lost, and I just, the incredible plays that he makes, the confidence that he instills. You talked about him not having a lot around him. I believe a little differently, Mike. I look at some of these young wide receivers. They're not great. They don't have big names. They don't have a lot of experience, but they play extremely hard. They do their very best. They want to prove to Aaron Rodgers that, that they're deserving of catching passes from him. I kind of like the direction in which this offense and this team is going with all these young players surrounded by Aaron Rodgers. And it seems like they've motivated him. Like, he's excited about teaching these guys, and he's not complaining. They work extremely hard for him.
Hey, Rodney, you're coming dangerously close to dropping hints about who you're going to pick Sunday night. Sounds like you're picking the Packers on Sunday night.
You never know what happens, Mike. I was watching you and Chris the other day, and you talked about, just kind of looking. You said something about a caveat and having the right to reserve, having to, to change your pick, basically to be able to change your pick based off of injuries, and I think that's important. I mean, if San Francisco comes out and they got 3 or 4 or 5 key guys not playing, I think that's something that you have to definitely look at.
When you were on the Patriots the first couple of years, the offense wasn't great. The defense was. Does that create tension when one side of the ball is maybe carrying more of the load than the other side?
It only creates tension when you're a garbage team. Like I played on a 1-15. I played on a 1-15 team, and we had the number 1 defense in the league, I think, in 1998, and we had the worst offense in the league. And yeah, it created some tension because every 3 plays, you're back on the field. No matter how hard you play, no matter how well you played against John Elway in that offense or anything like that, you get a strip sack or interception, you give it to your offense in perfect position, and all of a sudden Ryan Leaf drops back, strip sack, interception, pick 6. That's frustrating. But when you have a good team, it's more about complementary, offense and defense and guys playing together, especially if you're winning. It's not about who's the best, anything like that. It's just about, playing complementary football.
Cowboys have a great offense, and we know that Bill Belichick likes to take away what the opposing offense does best. What do you think he'll try to take away from that Cowboys offense?
Well, first and foremost, it's always going to be the run. I've never been in a situation where, except basically playing against the Colts, where we sat back and we played a cover 2 with 2 deep safeties, and we allowed the Colts to run. And I think Coach Dungy had said it before. They ran 8 or 9 plays, the same play 8 or 9 times. So I think that's number one. And also he has a lot of depth at the cornerback position. He's not afraid to match up Stephon Gilmore and Amari Cooper. That's a matchup that we'll be definitely paying attention to. But they're going to do a multitude of things. They'll blitz a little bit. They'll disguise. They'll try to take away Amari Cooper. And, the main thing here when you have a big play offense like the Cowboys is not giving up the big play. Coach Belichick doesn't mind if you're playing outside technique, if a guy catches an inside route. But the one thing he cannot stand is giving up big plays, and that's something to watch out for.
You get to stay home on Thanksgiving this year, but you are going to be working. It's the Saints at the Falcons next Thursday night. You and Mike Tirico and Tony Dungy are going to be calling the game. Now that you've done it, what have you learned from it that's going to make it different for you the second time?
I think just knowing when to jump in and, because it's a different dynamic, and it's not like I'm jumping in, and I'm playing, I'm announcing a Division II game or anything like that. Like millions and millions of people are watching. Everyone's critiquing what you say and when you say it and how you say it. The main thing here is just talk football. And Mike Tirico is the best. Coach Dungy is the best. But Mike is really good at setting you up, knowing exactly what you want to talk about, but not over-talking. That's the one thing that burns me up every week. I look at these games. You turn them off because you get so tired of the announcers treating the audience like they're idiots. You don't have to say every single thing. So for me, it's just making my points, getting out of there, and letting the fans enjoy the game.
And all of a sudden, that's a much better game than we thought it was going to be a few weeks ago, because the Falcons, number one, they beat the Saints in New Orleans. They've won 2 in a row. They've looked really good, and the Saints are trying to grab that brass ring of the number 1 seed. That went from a game that's kind of like, well, we'll watch it because it's Thanksgiving night and it's on TV, but now it's a game you got to tune in for.
Yeah, and it's just amazing, man. You go back and you watch the Falcons the first 6-7 weeks, and you're like, what team is this? I mean, we thought the Falcons would be exactly what they were now. Being able to run the football, tough defense, flying around, enthusiasm. I'm like, what happened to the first 2 months of the season? And to me, it's more mental. Everyone's talking about, they're playing hard for Coach Quinn. The hell with Coach Quinn. I'm playing hard for myself first and foremost because that's my job. You know what I mean? Like you're protecting your job, and general managers, owners, everyone's looking at what you're doing when you're losing. Like I said before, I played on a 1-15 team, and it wasn't about saving the coach's job because guess what? He's got 2, 3, 4 years of guaranteed money. It's always about saving your butt.
Hey, Rodney, great stuff as always, pal. We'll see you on Sunday night or Sunday afternoon all day long watching the games, and then you'll make your official pick. And you and I both, based upon who's active and who's not active, that's when we're going to make our final picks on Sunday night, 49ers-Packers.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.